Hello, Steve White, Steve White's 89. Okay, so we all know about the rumor that Madonna is going back to Warner Brothers. No, Warner's. I keep wanting to say Warner Brothers. Sire. And she's left Interscope, or her contract is certainly finished. Now, at first, I thought this was just a rumor because people were making assumptions. I thought, okay, they're making assumptions because Warner's is following her on Instagram. They're probably just doing that because she's working with Lupa, who I keep wanting to say Dia Lupa when it's Dua Lipa. I don't know why. That's for me. I thought that's all they're doing. It's nothing to do with contracts or anything. Because, yep. But there's a lot of talk now. The story is basically out that she's left Interscope after almost 10 years, and she's going back to her home in Warner's, the home that made her a star, and that she's going to get a eight digit contract basically. So like, they're talking about 70 million or something for 8 years or something, and I'm like, why on earth? No, I'm not saying Madonna doesn't have value, but I'm saying why on earth? I don't think Warner's values her. They had a bad relationship. That's why she left. I didn't realize this for a while, but I've heard a lot about it recently, and she was not getting along with them. There was a lot of issues, and that's why she left. Now, they've got her best work. They've got her biggest years were the 80s and 90s. They've got all that stuff. The last few years she hasn't done as well commercially. Some would say artistically. I wouldn't totally agree with that. I think some of the work on MDNA and Rebel Heart is amazing. Madame X is artistically sound, but I don't think it connects with people. It's a very narcissistic, self-indulgent sort of album where it's just her playing things that interest her, and she isn't really, yep. Not going to go into a review of that album, but I do like it. I do actually find myself listening to some of the tracks from it still, but it's not as good as Rebel Heart or MDNA or even Hard Candy. And they were more successful, so there's also that. But I mean, I don't see why I can see why they'd want her back, because if she's part of them again, they can use her to promote the old stuff, because she has nothing to do with it, and they have nothing to do with her because they can't make money without her. So there's this nasty relationship at the moment. There seems to have been. So maybe they've decided to actually go back on that, and actually, because it would benefit both of them to do that. So I can kind of see that, but I can't see them paying her that much money. I can't see her being that valuable. How are they going to make that 70 million back? I can't see any way they can make that money back. It doesn't look like she can tour again. I mean, she can barely walk. So I don't know how the hell she's going to sell anyone on the idea of doing another tour in like 2 or 3 years. Now maybe she can recover, and obviously she knows more about her condition than we do, but I don't see it happening. And even if she does, she can't top herself anymore. She was topping herself tour after tour after tour for ages until she sort of got to a point where Rebel Heart was the start of the decline, but artistically the music was different, so it didn't need to be like an insane dance fest like Confessions or MDNA. So it kind of worked. But Madame X didn't, as far as I'm concerned. Many fans will disagree with me, although many fans will agree with me as well. So I just wanted to do a video about this just because it is really interesting. And I made a comment on a Kylie video where I did a little review of Kylie's last video. A lot of people are trashing it, saying it's cheap and tacky because they don't actually understand camp, they don't understand kitsch, they don't understand the 70s, they don't understand what she's going for, what she's trying to do, because they're idiots, and people don't research stuff and don't understand things, and they just comment from their limited perspective. So I think it's a great video. It's beautiful. I personally I can't get enough glitter and light effects. As cheap as they are, I love that stuff from the 70s. It's beautiful, it's artistic, it's organic, it's real, it's not CGI. So I don't have an issue with that. So I did a video of that, and I just mentioned what was happening with Madonna because, you know, Warner's was liking her, so people were thinking that meant she was going back with them. But now the story's out, and I'm like, is the story just gossip, and once one person tells it, then everyone tells it like it's actually real, and there's actually no source to it? Or is there actually something that we don't know? Because her contract did finish. She had certain amount of number of albums, certain number of tours she had to do, and Madam X was the completion of that. So supposedly all there is left to do now is a greatest hits for this era. And someone mentioned that, and I thought, wow, these sound like they're being written by Madonna's PR. How can you do a greatest hits album for an era where you didn't really have any hits? I mean, the last hit she had was on MDNA, and that was mostly because what was that tire company? Whoever sponsored the Super Bowl basically paid for her video and paid for her. She had payola behind her for the first time in years, because no one has payolaed her for a while, because they're all going after the younger artists and ignoring her and leaving her to basically fight for herself. And that's the other issue with Interscope. Apparently, well, they never really supported Madonna. They basically just assumed she could promote herself and do it all herself, and she basically did. But she didn't have the sort of money behind her like Gaga. They gave Gaga like $31 million promotion for Born This Way, and then the next album got $29 million, and neither of them made that money back. They made less than the prior albums. They didn't do well by comparison, and they would have been better off spending. Madonna's albums made more than Gaga's albums in that time period. They would have been better off spending that money promoting Madonna. How good could her albums have done? How much more money could she have made if she'd had that sort of support behind her? So I don't blame her leaving, because she's not their priority. She's not getting the attention they should, and I think Warner's probably would pay her more attention because of the back catalogue. She's worth more to them than a new artist, I think, as long as they can keep her old stuff selling, and if that means keeping her going, to keep the legacy going, to keep the old interest in the old work as well, I can see them having some value there. And Gaga apparently is not happy with Interscope either. She may be leaving. Apparently she left a meeting in tears, because they want to spend their money and their energy promoting Billie Eilish, because apparently the industry still has this issue where they think you can only have one female recording artist. They had this problem back in the day. God, that's a whole other video. But they don't seem to be able to promote two people. They don't seem to be able to promote Gaga and Madonna, and now they don't seem to be able to promote Billie Eilish and Gaga. So Gaga is not happy that she's not getting the promotion she was promised. Like, I guess they didn't spend $30 million promoting this album. They didn't create a flying dress or anything. So yeah, I just don't know if this is real, if Madonna's really going to leave, if they really want her. I can sort of see it's possible if you take into account her whole career, and that once they've got her back working on new stuff, she can also be promoting the old stuff, so that will help that stuff sell, because that's probably where they're making the money. So I guess it's possible. I just can't see. I'm having trouble seeing how she'd be worth as much money as they're saying. It sounds like this was a news article spin put out by Madonna's PR people, wanting to make it look like her career is doing better, that she's sought after, that she's still a heavy hitter, she's still relevant. She's still relevant artistically and culturally, but commercially, not really. Her last tour was the smallest one and made the less money. Her last album did the less sales. It got good reviews, but reviews are usually skewed to the more creative, artistic things and not to what people really want, because the general public isn't really represented by critics for the most part, because they're usually elite, and that's not a bad thing, but you just have to be aware that an amazing artistic album that is well reviewed isn't necessarily going to catch on with the public and actually sell. So I don't know, but I guess we'll see what happens. We have 3 days until the remix of Levitating comes out. God, I hope that's the right title. Suddenly, I didn't write any notes for this, so I'm suddenly like realizing how I should not be relying on remembering some of these things, because people will attack you for spelling things wrong in your comments, or in videos, like, and saying the wrong name. You know what video I'm talking about, you know what song I'm talking about, you know what remix I'm talking about, so if I got the name wrong, who cares? But that's coming out in a few days, and it's part of a whole remix album, so it's going to get more attention than I thought. I thought it was just it's a remix of the 5th single, who cares? I can't believe they'd even show up on it, because she obviously wants someone to show up on it, because then it's going to get more press than the 5th single normally would. but then you discover it's actually the first single in a remix album, so it's actually a lot better deal than I thought that Madonna's getting out of this and Missy's getting out of this. So we'll see how that goes. Madonna's birthday's coming up as well, so hopefully she is working on, because she'd have to be working on something. She knew her contract was ending with Interscope, so obviously she'd have to try and be working on something. So some people are saying she should just go independent, just use them for distribution like Janet apparently was doing, which has worked for her or something. I don't know, we'll see. It won't be too long before we have an answer whether it's just a rumour or the next phase of Madonna's career. I do want to see Madonna have a comeback. It'll be the first time she has to have a comeback. She's come back so many times where she never went anywhere, but I feel like she's kind of, like I said before, Madame X killed Madonna and buried her somewhere in Lisbon. And what I'm hoping is that she can crawl her way out of the grave. She's not actually dead. She was just like stunned. And I'm hoping she can crawl herself out of the grave, come back, because I want to see her come back. I just want her to actually have something worth watching and worth listening to. Because Madame X was... I'm just rambling at this point. I know I just want to talk about it because it's kind of exciting, because maybe something great's going to happen. Maybe she's going to do a film and a new album, and maybe she'll be well enough to tour, and maybe she'll actually do it in a way that works. And so I'm optimistic and excited on that side, but then the other side is like, Madame X. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, let me know what you think. If you know anything about it other than just, the same article we've seen over and over again, please let me know. Thanks, bye.